Uganda against Tanzania is a game either of the two nations should win if they are to enhance chances of staying in Morocco for the next few weeks. Uganda lost to Tunisia 3-1 in the first game, while Tanzania were 2-1 losers to Nigeria. The coaches have spoken, the players have spoken. Tanzanian coach Miguel Gamondi was in the press conference and said this is a game they must win. So was Simon Musuva, one of the most experienced players in the Tanzania team. For Uganda, Joseph Paul Put as usual, and then player Alan Okero spoke to the media, and the two sets of benches and of course the players expressed readiness about winning this derby. With me, a host of journalists from Kampala, Uganda, and those are to known. This guy has moved millions of kilometers to reach here. Clive, how was the journey to Morocco?
Millions of kilometers, but the journey to Morocco was full of mixed reactions, excitement, anxiety, scary at some stage, of course, but eventually we managed to make it. The journey officially, for me, started on the 4th of December, my birthday. I went to the airport. My ticket didn't come through.
I remember we had a discussion about that.
I had to go back home, but the ticket eventually came in. So via Addis Ababa, I connected with the rest of the team in Benin. So the journey started in Benin, where we all converged on our way to Togo. We weren't cleared to cross into Togo. We had to come back to Benin. We woke up to a coup. So in Benin, a coup that was never. But we couldn't move because the borders were closed, the airspace was closed. Eventually we were cleared. The following day on Monday we moved. We got into Togo, Ghana, Ivory Coast, where we spent about 3 or 4 days. And the reality checked in when we crossed from Ivory Coast to go into Benin.
But nice to have you here. You missed the game against Tunisia. I know you watched.
I don't regret.
Yeah, you don't regret missing. On my exact right is the man himself, Darren Onono Mutabani Wangi. You know, when this boy was young, we raised him so well, and I'm just proud that, like his dad, we are now at the same level. Actually, over and Singapore, because the BBC Zani Sinatukayo, but of course we shall get there. Darren, nice to be here.
Great to be here. Can I say good afternoon? It looks like morning. It's pretty cold.
Whatever it is, people will watch at different time.
Certainly. Delighted to be here. Just a few hours before the Cranes take on Tanzania in that derby.
And of course, one that never speaks, but the actions, the pictures he takes, speak for himself. Mukodomi. So bukote bukwata kanya abantu bategereje anekira bya ino soko kuwe ngoko. Nice to be here. Bamulanze chiki musinga mulaba bifaananye ebyo mutero biraba kakati. This is the man behind those very, very nice photos. How is Morocco treating you?
Yeah, it's a beautiful atmosphere. A bit cold, but yeah, I've been to colder places than this. But it's always difficult to come from hot weather and adjust quickly. But yeah, I'm getting there. And it's my second Afcon. Yeah. My first one was in 2019 in Egypt. Yeah, but I'm glad to be here to capture the memories for the future.
We are talking about being the second Afcon. We have a man. I covered the Afcon before he did, but then he surpassed me because this is my third Afcon. I was in Gabon 2017, 2019 in Morocco, and of course I'm here. In Egypt, and now I'm here in Morocco. Things first. Uganda is taking on Tanzania in a game either side must win. Clive, we've seen Alan Okelo here, we've seen Joseph Paul Put, and of course, you never watched the first game, but you know what transpired and you've watched the clips. Olowooza guno, Uganda inakola kyo buwangula.
Inakuteba golo buwangula.
Tozijukiza. Omanye waliwo coach twambuuza, what was your team playing in terms of structure na bichi yatugamba? Football. Bade temugula abantu bade tusamba mpira. So you sounded like him.
But on a serious note, of course, we need to improve our performance from how we conducted ourselves in that game against Tunisia. From goalkeeping to defense, I thought on the day our defense looked very awful. The midfield will need to step up, because if they don't step up, we offensively we also struggle. You could see that we limited ourselves by the manner in which we conducted ourselves, especially when we had a possession in that game. It reached a point when our midfielders didn't really know what to do with the ball. Of course, Tunisia was a better side. They were always going to win, but we would have lost honorably. It did happen on that day. We are taking on a Tanzanian side at a level that is not Sekafa level, that is not Chan level. Every time we are playing in the Sekafa or in the Chan, we are sure we are going to win. This is the Africa Cup of Nations, and we can't win if we don't create chances, if we don't utilize the chances we create.
Darren, Clive spoke about the changes, and of course the coach hinted at having some changes. You watched the game, you saw the lineup, you saw the changes made at halftime and after. Which changes would you expect on case you were put? What changes would you make coming to the game against Tanzania?
I think that has been on the lips of everyone, even when the game between Uganda and Tunisia was going on. One, I thought in that one, Uganda's script was torn pretty early. Many people would dismiss the conditions, but they were not familiar ones, even for a team that has been pitching camp in Morocco.
Last 21
yeah, for nearly 3 weeks. And so, looking at how the team played, first in terms of defense, you're thinking the fact that now Elio Capradosi is again ruled out of the game against Tanzania, that central defense will remain the same, largely in part because Timothy Awani would have been the first choice option to replace Capradosi, got injured and then lost his father, and so the reason to have him in camp further diminished. It's why there are 27 players in camp and not 28. So you're likely expecting the defense to remain the same, because you surely anticipate Aziz Kayondo to have more license to go forward in a game like against Tanzania, unlike against Tunisia, where him and Sibik had the defense punished whenever they got forward. In midfield, there's been talk of Khalid Awucho, but with the fact that he's got the armband and the experience he's got, I think he again gets a nod, considering again it's Tanzania they are facing, where he's plied his trade over the last
playing against the coach.
Against his coach,
His own coach
at club level. And Kenneth Samakula, I think there will be much more responsibility, much less pressure compared to what happened against Tunisia, especially going into those phases of the first half. Now, as I've stated, even before the tournament started, in the Uganda Cranes today, the availability of options or room to change is much more at the front than at the back. I don't expect Salim Jamal to leave the goal. Onyango will still be on the bench. But much forward, now the questions begin as well. You weigh the options. Against Tunisia, Stephen Mukwala led the line, Rogers Mato on the left, on the right, Jude Semugabi, and then Melvin Lorenzen. And I thought Lorenzen got lost for majority of the spell. He got lost.
Is it because he doesn't know Africa?
Not that, but also the fact that one, his return to the Cranes came after a decade. Two, the stage is big. Three, the opponent is huge. Four, you have, look at the guys who started on the field of play, who had started an Afcon game before.
It was
Khalid. So the rest of the 10 players are all new. And because the Cranes don't have much of the ball in critical moments, because if the Cranes would contain possession in moments, but they had possession in clusters, so they get a huge cluster, no job done at the front.
Actually, the kind of possession they had is one in their own half.
In their own half, they passed.
Tunisians were waiting on them.
And once they lost the ball, they got punished.
Yes.
More than often. So, thinking with the way Lorenzen struggled, the feedback that FUFA, the Crane setup, the technical team, reading the room basically. When you see Alan Okello at the press conference, it surely gives you a pointer that he should be a starter. So you expect that's the first change. But the question is now, do you keep Lorenzen on the field of play and drift him further right? Perhaps at the expense of who? Is it Jude Semugabi or Stephen Mukwala?
Because Jude Semugabi did not
he didn't flourish because he struggled with possession
but
in
also,
the first half.
Remember, I was shocked to see Jude Semugabi starting. Why? since he made his transfer to Jamus in South Sudan, I think he's played just one game, and he even missed the camp here in Morocco, where the Cranes played against Morocco, and I think Central African Republic and Chad. So it was shocking to see him start. Bamulanzechi, you were closely on the pitch because of your job. The conditions, just imagine if those conditions re-emerge tomorrow, what do you think the Cranes should do?
Well, since the team has been here longest, I think it's enough time for them to get used to the conditions. Yes, we are from a different, kind of climate altogether. But yeah, if it rains again the way it rained on the first game, it will be a hard one. But I think they must be ready now.
Your predictions before we leave this stage?
It's a tight game. It's a tough game. Playing against Tanzania, it's a derby, of course. But many of the players, some of the players that we have played in Tanzania, so they know our structure well. We also know their structure, so it will be upon which team settles into the game early, takes their chances, who will win. But it will be a close one. But I think Uganda will come up as a win.
Darren, your prediction coming to this, and a few players from the Tanzania side that Uganda should look out for.
Simon Musuva,
Very experienced, and whenever he's faced Uganda, he's scored against them by them.
Yeah, Faisal as well returning to the setup from a suspension. You have other players in that setup, including Bwana Samata. Sometimes these are the moments the experienced players stand up to show what they've got. But I'm thinking it's going to be a close encounter. Very open football. I don't know how many times the referee will run to the screen for video assistant referee technology support. But
it's in Uganda's favor there.
Whichever way it goes, because it's going to be an open affair. Because for Uganda and Tanzania, this is the final. This is the final, nothing more. And I just think the Cranes have had a bit of an edge and growth over the last 18 months or so. Even if Tanzania has got an Afcon in there, I'm thinking perhaps psychological advantage for the Cranes. Maybe 1-0 or 2-1. Tanzania, I don't know when they last won a game at Afcon. For Uganda, it's just 6 years ago.
6 years ago, Uganda got their first win, and by the way, it was the first time they won an opening day game in the Afcon. Clive, you've been to several Afcons. Just before you chip in with the prediction, what do you make of the facility in Morocco in comparison to where we've been before?
I would say no country comes close. Of course, we've been to Egypt. At the time, we thought they had the best facilities on the continent. Of course, they did, because they were Egypt. Cameroon, most of the facilities were new. Others were just upgraded for the tournament. They didn't meet the standards that were in Egypt. And you thought that Ivory Coast had taken it a notch higher, because when you look at the facilities that were in Ivory Coast, much as also some of them were new and renovated for the tournament, but you thought they met the standards of an international tournament. But when you come to Morocco, I don't think we have anything like this in Africa. And it goes back to the statement they said before even the tournament started, that expect a European experience in an African atmosphere. And when it comes to the facilities, they are indeed giving us a European experience. For somebody who has been across the world covering international tournaments, football and the rest, you believe that Morocco has taken it a notch higher, and we don't have anything like this on the African continent.
Prediction, Uganda, Tanzania?
Let me be radical. Just like one of our favorite coaches, Mike Mutebi, I believe it is going to be a high-scoring game, 3-2 for Uganda.
3-2 for Uganda. Thanks for watching wherever you're watching. Subscribe, comment, like, share. Those comments you give us make us correct what we've not done right, and also they show that you guys are out there are watching. So thank you to the team. Thank you, Muko. Thank you, my son. And by the way, this guy is the one. This guy is the one that yeyandeta mbina ebintu kubanga awo kigawo ky'oluzungu kinnabye ekyoteekawo naye yabindeeta musanga singa siri wano.
Mu mupiira yaba yakuspoti.
Ye yansportinga. Naye ate nange nyinake namuzannyira awo kakananga tugeze. No, Tunisia yetegeera omupiira. Kubanga Tunisia. By the way, Tunisia, Uganda. And tutegeera omupiira.
Ultimately, it's all association football.
It is, and it's optional. So njagala okwebaza. I want to thank the producer, the cameraman. Omanyi bagamba omusajja omutali ankoko ye bamuyita Darius Fred. Mwongere Sempuo. Ya musajja wa maanyi. Era whatever you see going on right, it's him. Whatever you see going on wrong, it's still him. But if anything goes wrong, it's Joel Muita, who is the assistant editor. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Bye-bye.